This is most awaited session for me. I've been listening to Sanjeev for a few years. He has been very inspirational to GWFM and WFM community and people supply management and strategy community. In fact, he's the one inaugurated International WFM Professionals Day. How many of you know about International WFM Professionals Day? 27th June, right? Sanjeev is the one that inaugurated, and in fact, he inaugurated our innovation hackathon. And every hackathon that we do, it comes there to inspire the WFP professionals to do something different and make it relevant to the business need and all that. Very inspirational. I look up to Sanjeev always, and the entire organization looks up to him and in the industry. Sanjeev has been a CEO in GE global leading in Cognizant, and he headed global operations and WFM in IBM, and now he's in Wipro. He takes care of complete chief operations globally, and then he's been very busy after he took this role recently, and glad that we got his time out for us to share his knowledge. So without much delay, I invite Sanjeev Jain, Chief Operating Officer, Wipro. Can we have you, sir?
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Shiva and Partho. It's very good to be part of this group. I think I see a lot of familiar faces. Like, how many of you have been here last few years? Yeah, majority. So you will see me repeating the same old wine, new bottle. That's because it is wine. It's always old is better, right? So I won't say anything new, great, but I think I'll stick to the theme that I've always been. But a couple of things I wanted to just share with all of you. How many of you know the stock price of your company now or today? You know, right? I am. My team doesn't know here. They are sitting here. So you know it, right? So good. I'm glad some of you are raising hands. And how many of you spend time listening to earnings of your leadership or your companies? Yeah. See, good to see. I think earlier I never used to see any hands raised. I think that's very important. I think we all are in a function which can keep us busy, more than 24/7 in solving a problem that we don't have any control over. Yes, I think we are, end of the day, whatever you call, you're not like a word called middleman, but end of the day, we are all trying to move and shake and do whatever we want to make this demand for a Superman plus Spider-Man plus a Batman at the almost like a lower cost yesterday, right? I think that's the situation we all deal with. So this is when Shiva and Partho formed this community. I was so happy that at least this is one forum we can laugh at each other and we can none of your companies might appreciate you as much as you can appreciate yourself and empathize with each other in this room. So please make the most. That's the fun part of this function, right? Not these speeches and all, but I think understand from each other different industries. I know I'm glad that Indigo is added now. I think that we only used to have few IT companies or BPO companies. I think it's good to have different sectors coming in because it's again end of the day we need to learn whatever we do in supply chain from basics of manufacturing. In my view, the Toyota way, and then Amazon taught us the Amazon way. I think those are the things that I would look to learn as to what can be applied in our industries. So having said that, I have been into this function, but I've always looked at it from a business perspective. So the first suggestion I have to all of you, don't look at it too much from your functional or a domain that you kind of miss the big picture. That's why I asked you the question, do you know what the stock price is? Do you know what you're in? What is happening in your earnings? End of the day, each of your CEOs or the shareholders are looking at top line and bottom line, correct? And this function touches both. That's very important to understand, and therefore you need to understand for your company, your role, how does it help top. Sometimes I wonder with the quality of demand that we see, and this is not just in my current company, in my previous companies, I wonder that if I hire everyone that I see in the demand, will I add to top line or will I create a margin problem? I'm sure you also deal with the same issue in your companies.
So the demand may not be clean, it may be overstated, or it may be past due, and there is so much halla gulla happening, and people are kind of saying, I'm losing so much revenue. But I think when you hire a lot of people, they go on bench, they are not billed, and we create, suddenly a CFO says, what the hell have you done? So far you are explaining the sales team, and now you're explaining the finance team, right? I think we live this life. So make sure you step back from that emotion and understand what's the right thing to do. This is very, very difficult for this team, because this team is definitely sandwiched between your day-to-day stakeholders and between the financial outcomes. So I think that this team needs to have the courage and a thick skin to say no or yes and push what you think helps the company. And that's not easy. You will have scars, you will have whatever, but end of the day, that makes you a much better professional in the area of not just workforce management, but in the area of overall operations, supply chain. And end of the day, that's what in my career I have done. And that's what helps you to think from a business perspective. And whether you do a CEO job or a CEO job, I think end of the day, this is the crux. This is where execution happens, right? You keep hearing strategy and execution. This is the execution team, and execution is the strategy, right? So I think I just wanted to have that perspective. So let me step back into the framework I apply in what I do, right? I have been talking about it: work, workplace, workforce. If you heard me in the past, I think you should keep revisiting that again and again. So when you look at work, right, in today's, I don't want to go through all the details. The presentations are there with Shiva and team from my past, but I just have to update it every year with few bullet points and replace some bullet points. So work, when I think of work, see, in terms of work, what is happening in your areas, you understand. What I have seen is what is happening on work is there's something called Gen AI has come, correct? So you need to see in the work that you do, what can be done to infuse AI, Gen AI. That's it. I think, to me, I want to keep it very simple on this. In each of our roles and each of your business roles, right? When you are even looking at the roles you are hiring, or the work that's happening in your company, or the work that's happening in your process that you manage, just think how we can reimagine with Gen AI. Okay, easier said than done. I know my experts from Prism Force are here, and I'm sure some other companies might be here. I think they're doing a lot of good stuff in making us reimagine and think, how can I become more intelligent, predictive? And I remember I was meeting LinkedIn team. Most of us have LinkedIn as our partners, clients, or individually we are all on LinkedIn. When I met meeting LinkedIn and we were talking, they just, in fact, did an interesting thing. They looked at all the roles we have posted on LinkedIn, we all do, and then they matched it with the employees in Wipro. And they said, why are you posting? These people you have today. They did matching and told me that I think you need to do a better job in your company to get these people the work that you are hiring from outside. So just a thought, food for thought. So I'm saying, therefore, work is changing. Use AI, Gen AI as much as possible in everything that you do, right? Next, come to the workplace. Yeah. When it comes to workplace, we all know COVID taught us you can work from this room. I was on calls in the car, etc., etc. All that is fine. But I feel that when you look at really the workplace, an area which I think we, sitting in Bangalore, in hotels like this, don't realize how much is the development happening in the tier 3, 4 cities, not only in India, but globally. And that is where I feel is the real future of engaging talent who is really hungry and who comes with real world problems that they have solved in their lives. So if you're not in those locations in your companies, at least visit those locations, have a feel of it. There are many companies which have gone into it. I think you must have heard about, from an India perspective, Rural Shores, Next Wealth, or even now Shri, I think, who was in EY, who was a big supporter of the forum, has gone and set up something. Last week I was reading in Udupi. So I think this is not a small thing. This is a real serious thing for us. So think about what from a workplace standpoint, and it could have different countries, I'm sure, as they're emerging, have their own tier 2, 3, 4 locations. That is a significant shift. And that is where you will get real good quality They may need some skilling, but I think that's where I see from our company perspective. I was in Mysore last week. I'm looking at some more centers like that, where we have those centers, but when we hire, we are hiring in metros. I think we're taking an easy path. And we are challenging ourselves, should we really, and we are the guys in our function who raise the demand and raise, and right, I'm assuming whichever language you use in your companies, this is the function which decides how many to hire, where to hire, correct? So I think we as a function need to take the ownership, get workplace in the equation, and not just go and satisfy whatever is being told to be done. So I think that will be a significant shift on moving from a workplace to tier 2, 3, 4 locations. Now coming to workforce, right? Workforce, I think again you all understand, it's skill is the currency, right? Your degree doesn't matter, your experience does not matter. People keep telling me, how do I replace 25 years experience with a fresher from the college? But I think that's a good thing to do, because they are digital natives. They operate, I can't even operate my car infotainment system, so I have to depend on my son to tell me. Similarly, I'm sure each one of you are, my mother can't even operate remote in the TV, correct? So it's a fact of life. So I think the old experience is great. I value wisdom, I value experience, but when it comes to skill, it's the new skill that matters. So it's extremely important when you look at workforce. We all shy away sometimes from going to the campus and hiring. I have resistance in my company to hire folks from campus. And I think that's a pushback we need to have very strong. And if you're not engaging with universities in your locations, I would strongly encourage you to do that, either in personal capacity or in professional capacity. You will learn a lot. Go and spend some time with the third year students, fourth year students. Go for some classes, go for their hackathons. They do keep doing hackathons in the universities. We are actually engaging with them now, starting their 6th, 7th, 8th semester, etc., to train them on our curriculum and give some internship. So I think there's a paradigm shift. So that's what I'm saying on a workforce. The future workforce of this industry is not in this room. It is either in remote areas or it is in the campuses, which is going to come out in few years. I think that's something we need to understand, acknowledge, and be ready for it. Right? I hope that those are the things I just wanted to share. So I hope you got my message. So from a work standpoint, just to summarize, just push AI, right? Just do whatever AI can do. In terms of workplace, look at locations which are not familiar. Go for a holiday with your family. Experience them in the December time frame. I think you will realize what I'm saying. The highways are excellent now, thanks to the government, and you will love it. So that's going to change your perspectives in life and the quality of life. In fact, it took me same time to go to Mysore as it takes to go to Kodati, by the way, from Bannerghatta Road. So I think that's what it is. And then on the workforce, I think please get into some tier 2, 3, or whichever university. I'm fine in near your house or near your office. Just feel the fresh air outside. I think that's much better. So I'll pause. I think if there are any questions, I will take. But thanks once again. Very happy to be here, Shiva and Partho. Thanks for calling me.
For them to normalize to be in a current ecosystem where they are hireable, right? From a client perspective, what is your approach, or what would you recommend is a good glide path to kind of get there, right? Because at some level of investment, you can't really expect that you're going to have a productive employee in 2 weeks or 4 weeks based on your current hiring cycles.
I think you should visit. I think we are underestimating. I'll tell you a lot of work that's happening on annotations, high-end, high-tech AI stuff. I saw in near Salem, which is 2 hours away from here. There is a college, Mahindra College of Engineering, if people have known, and they have a Next 12 center there. I was blown away by the work I saw there. There is also a center we have in Manjakudi, which is, you would never have heard of that place, near Kumbakonam. I visited there. I met the employees there. I was blown away. There was a requirement from Walmart to one of these, and this is what I'm telling, a fact which was told to me by Sridhar Mitta. If you know, Sridhar Mitta has been a veteran in the industry. He was a CTO for Wipro. He's the one who started Next 12. And they got an inquiry from Walmart client from US to do some price analytics, which means when Walmart looks at the price catalog, Walmart is everyday low prices, as you know. So Walmart, when they price a product, they have to be everyday low prices, which means they have to do scanning, they have to do research, and they have to figure out what is the similar product priced across globally or wherever in that country. They actually asked Next Wealth, we need to ramp up. We are launching few products. How much time you need? They went to many companies like us and maybe other places. We would have told them months or weeks. They said few hours. And they delivered this from their centers, which are in tier 3 and 4 locations. So what I'm saying is, we don't know what we don't know. We are sitting in a cushion. I think there is a significant development. We say that democratization of technology. You have to see it to believe it. It has happened. We are somehow, I feel, a bit ignorant or not aware of what's happening. Let me give another example. I met the police commissioner in Bangalore. He's seeking help on cyber security. Why? He's telling me, again, example of democratization of technology. 8th fail from Bihar is doing fraud on highly literate IT employees by taking away their funds. What better example you need of democratization of technology? I hope it.
A great answer. No, I mean, I've visited rural shores, and to your advice, right? I've over the last 2-3 years, especially, I've been going to even a lot of the smaller villages in base of the Himalayas, right? So to your point, right, and that's why I wanted to ask, right? There is an approach and methodology to exploring some of these geographies.
It's a mindset. It's a resistance. Our resistance. I face the resistance even today. It is a fact. I think it's a demand supply issue. Work moved from US to India. Similar issues 20 years back. Will it take 20 more years to move work to tier 3, tier 4? I don't think so. Life is better than few. It will happen in the next few years. Yeah, please.
Yeah, hi. This is Sandeep here. I have one question. You talked very nicely about we getting pulled between sales teams forecast and the CFOs and finance team and leadership. Sales team says go higher, and CFO says please hold on, right? So in your experience, this uncertainty of the forecast in terms of talent demand, how we should manage as a workforce management team when the sales forecast is coming with 50%, 60% probability on an opportunity which needs niche skills, and they say go and hire in in Noida, in Calcutta, or maybe in US also in some locations, and workforce management team says the probability has to become 80% for us to act on it. So how do we manage this?
Yeah. So I think it's a good question. It's a question everyone struggles every day. First thing is we should get into understanding a little more on the financial equation of the demand. I don't think we do that as a function. I'm making a broad statement. We just try to rush after whatever demand and we go after it. I don't know if you have asked the question, okay, what's the margin? Is it short term? Is it like we have this short-term contracts, we ramp up, ramp down, etc. I don't even know whether we question. We are a lot of times, for again lack of a better word, subservient. We try to do what pleases our account teams or our sales teams, right? I think that's by nature. I think we have been groomed that way. But I think now we have to elevate ourselves and think what's the right thing to do for the employee, because if we hire, we don't want to fire, correct? We want them to have a great career in the company. And what's the right thing to do for the client? And the clients, in my mind, what I have seen, clients will always say, I want an experienced person. And which is what we are now starting to drive with little success. I think we have a long way to go. Something called rotation, right? All our companies have internal talent. And we all lose people. We all run attrition of double digits. So we should see how can I do a little more rotation for those kind of demands, where if they are in so much demand, ideally we should be able to generate within. And with some of the AI skills which I mentioned, with AI prediction, can we do some proactive analysis to say this is my pattern and can I do some upskilling and have this skill ready for future. I think that's my answer to you. I think that's something which at least I am pushing my teams, that start looking at, don't say that demand is not good, not clean, etc. That has become a stale excuse. Let's look at the patterns. What are we consuming? What are we losing? Therefore, what is the shortage? Like just like a supermarket, what is selling, what is not selling, and have an inventory of the skills that we need. Right? I hope that explains you. Is what I would suggest. It's no perfect answer, but we don't think about it. You will keep running after sorting that one person, which we do in Taiwan, right? And then after some time, we'll say that demand is over. So now we have to let go. Waste of time. Correct?
Right now, yesterday I was having an interview from a boy from a village in Kanpur, and back of the mind I was thinking that I will not even invest 1 minute in that guy. But trust me, when he started talking, I just had a simple question for him, that what do you know about aviation? And after 2 minutes of interaction, I was thinking that he has a chat GPT in his brain. So he was talking about aviation. I mean, so impressed. I invested 45 minutes with that guy.
I hope you hired him.
Yes, we will. So that sort of, I just want to resonate, and we understand what you're saying here.
See, we all grew up like that, right? At least when I grew up, I was a mechanical engineer. Who thought I will be a CEO in Wipro or do all this? By nature, we are smart people. We just need an opportunity. And we have taken the opportunity for ourselves, but we are denying the opportunity to the next generation, is what I feel guilty many times. So I call this more like a payback time, where we have to get people who were like us hungry, right? We all started with roti, kapda, makan. I keep telling my team, right? We all followed Maslow's theory, food, shelter, clothing, for someone who is not from India, right? If you look at it in metros, they don't start with food, shelter, clothing. They have all that. So what you're getting here is not food, shelter, clothing folks. You're getting folks who will come shop and then go around. But the roti, kapda, makan people are in tier 2, 3, 4. Right. So please understand that philosophy of what's going on. And sometimes the people who are interviewing these folks, like again, people like us and our peers, have no appreciation. There's a huge generation gap, a huge diversity gap that we have. We are thankful to our bosses who gave us these opportunities in life, isn't it? We have to become that. That's the leap of faith we need to take. Yeah. Yeah, one last question I'll take and I'll have to go. Yeah.
Leadership on this in terms of, it was really energizing and encouraging, shifting our mindset, right? To even this is possible, right? Thanks for that. And I do want to introduce Yash here, who's come with me. He's a third-year engineering graduate. He's doing data scientist. So I've hired him like 3 months.
Good.
This guy is fabulous. I mean, I didn't want to restrict. I mean, come, let's go for the forum, see what's happening around here. So I'm really happy and proud that, okay, we are on the right path. And thanks for that. And the other thing is we spoke about the financials, right? I think as WFM now, 40 to 50% of our time is invested on the financials and the cost out. It's not the demand deciding the cost, it's the cost deciding the demand. It's the other way around. That's the challenge that personally I'm facing. Like, Shubha, how can you remove contacts?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I have a 5 million challenge. Remove the contacts, figure out a way, right? We are getting into that domains as well. It is not just the 4 domains, the forecasting capacity, scheduling and RTA. Now we have another one getting added, which is financials, which is cost out. So I'm feeling that end to end and being part of the game. All this while somebody is saying that we are doing, the planning stuff. Now it's like I am into the game. I know this is what Michael needs. This is what Michael is looking at. And we're planning this together. And we understand why we are doing and what we are doing, how critical role that we play in the organization. Like you said, everybody, anything happening around us, we are the center. Nervous, like I call it as nervous system, right? We play that critical role. Just involved, like sir mentioned, involved on the cost piece of it as well as the financials. Then you'll feel that you are into the game. Otherwise, it's like somebody asked, we are doing, move on. right? So that's an important point, and I really feel that, and thank you for sharing.
I appreciate it. It's not just a cost, it's revenue also. What I'm saying is don't get so much bogged down
Yeah.
on the reduction of headcount. It's a spiral. The more you go down, it goes down. I think you have to keep a balanced focus. It's painful, but it's easy to cut cost. It's difficult to add revenue. So please, of course, financials are important. We should focus. So that's why utilization is a measure all of us use. So if you think utilization is healthy, I think the bottom line is taken care of. But top line is something is I think our teams can do a much more job. Simple things like you look at the skills you have in the inventory, equip our, do a reverse thing, tell our sales teams that this is the skill I can provide faster. Can you go and sell this skill more? Right? Something like that. We don't even know within our team. A skill is I told you skill is a currency, right? So think of skill as an SKU in FMCG industry, right? In FMCG industry, everyone will know what is the cost of SKU and what is the selling price of the SKU, right? Our Colgate 20 grams, what is the cost it takes to produce and what is the selling price? Do we know that for our skills? We don't know that. SAP skills, we see, many people will not even know what it takes to buy or make in-house or sell. And you just do that analysis in your company for whichever skill, you will see the huge variation. Maybe some places we are selling cheap. Maybe some places we are selling with a premium. Maybe at the cost side, maybe you are sometimes buying at a very high cost. Sometimes when you're skilling inside, it's cheaper. So I think you should get into those areas which actually help you to understand the financial equation of the skills that you have in the company. Yeah, and come out with make versus buy. So these are all concepts we have seen, we have heard, but we don't apply it in our day-to-day job. We think it is someone else to do it. Yeah. So, but thanks. I appreciate you getting Yash, and Yash, hopefully, I think share the word with your friends in the college, and push us hard. I think this generation needs a lot more push from all of you. Yeah. So, yeah, go ahead, please.
My name is Chetan Khosla, and we see the gig economy, right? It is happening, and I see it growing in force. But large companies, traditional companies like Wipro, Infosys, etc., and the leadership team over there, you are there. You also mentioned Maslow, and the highest, probably the highest need is freedom, self-actualization and freedom. Employment is not freedom.
Yes.
Now, gig economy gives gives freedom. So my question is, you in Wipro, and are you supporting this, or how are you supporting moving employees from just employment to allowing them to become masters of their own time, policies, and work and destiny? So, like for example, Uberification or Ola Uberification.
Got it.
Jobs,
I understood. Sure.
Are you thinking of converting
so,
your
no.
workforce?
So I understood your point. See, it's a personal choice. Point number one, right? For every employee, they have, based on their life situation, it's a very individual choice whether you want to work full time, part time, don't work gig, right? So for the point number one, what each of us do is to, as part of your workforce planning, we decide. It's not that I'm going to an employee and say, now you move to gig. From a Wipro perspective, we already acquired a company called Topcoder many years back. If you have heard about it, just Google about Topcoder. Topcoder is the world's largest gig platform. It's a Wipro company. We have almost 2 million plus gig knowledge workers. I'm saying gig is not Swiggy, gig is not Uber. Somehow we also think this gig has become Swiggy and Uber people on the bikes, right? That's not the point. So gig is about knowledge workers as well. So we have a community of 2 million plus on the Topcoder platform, which we leverage when we have seasonal demands or seasonal stuff. That is one from a gig industry standpoint. Second is within large companies, Chetan, to your point. So we have 200,000 plus people. I'm sure many companies have similar size, or maybe even 100,000, 10,000 is big enough. What's more important is, what can you take from gig and apply to your internal employees? I'm not saying that move internal employees to gig and say you stop full-time work and go. That's their personal choice. But what I'm saying is, in each one of our companies, people work hard, and there are times when people have idle time. Can you at least have a gig within your company where you say, hey, you're working, by the way, you're assigned to this project, this account, but I have this demand that has come up. This needs 16 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours of work. Why should I go and hire externally? Instead of paying externally, I want to have a gig platform internally. I am posting this. You apply, and if you want, we will let you do the gig, which is what I think we do. A lot of companies do. I'm sure it's they may call it different language or different words, but to me, that's the meaning of gig. It's purely personal in my view. As a company, we can enable the platforms and make it visible for employees either within the company or outside to leverage that. That's what I would say. Yeah. But guys, thank you so much. Pleasure to be here as always. Thank you, and thanks for your hospitality and always warm wishes, Partho and Shiva. I really appreciate it and wish you good luck for everything that you do. You have our complete support. Thank you.
Busy schedule. It's truly honor to have you. In fact, GWFM research team has found a lot of insights, and they've done a lot of research about you and your leadership and the organizations. So GWFM would want to give away the CXO Strategic Visionary Award, where it's something that very significantly achieved and done something very differently, the visionary manner. You are one of the global visionary, where people look up to, and a lot of learnings from you for any kind of industries. Privileged to have this with the expression of gratitude.